Hello, my name is Jenna. I have been on Mounjaro / Zepbound for about 7 months now. I have lost a little over 70 pounds. I am super grateful for this wonderful medication. It has absolutely changed my life. It has changed how I interact with my children, the energy level that I have. My blood work is better. I am off blood pressure medication at this point, so it has done wonderful things. I am super grateful for it, and for the opportunity to be able to have access to these medications. We live at a wonderful, amazing time. Today, I have another sort of complaint or criticism, maybe, of the support groups. Again, and I always say this, I think you can get amazing information from support groups. If you have questions about, what kind of protein is good, or recipes, or just general support, I think they can be wonderful. It's a community of people who are going through the same thing that you are with these medications and side effects, asking what's normal. There are a lot of great things that can come out of being in one of these support groups. So I don't want to sound like I have all these criticisms and I think they're awful, because I absolutely do not. But there are a few things that do bother me and I think are not helpful, and just basically are good for no one. I was reading a post and someone said, what do I do when I can't get my medication, my Mounjaro? I can't find it. What do you do in between those times? And somebody left a comment saying you should write to your legislator, because only people who are diabetic should be on this medication, and went on a rant about they need to kick these weight loss people off. There's no need for it. This was made for diabetics. And she went on. There were other people who responded saying, how can you say you need this more than someone else? You don't know what their medical issues are, and you're not a doctor. Who are you to decide person A needs it more than person B? And let's be honest, there are so many medications that were made for one thing and they found out it benefited even more for something else. So, it happens all the time. And let me just say, I understand the shortage is frustrating for everyone on this medication who has had to struggle to get what they need, or the medication that they need and the dose that they need. It's stressful, it's hard, it's the whole thing, and I get that. But to be so entitled to get on and make these comments, and someone else is commenting, basically what I'm saying, how can you say you need this more than someone else? So, of course, she goes on, it was made for diabetics, and we need it, and you guys don't need it. Lose weight, exercise, get off your butt, blah, 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 the whole nines. And that is so frustrating to me, because I did exercise and I did portion control previous to taking Mounjaro. I had done all those things and had very slow, minimal results. I do think there are two different types of people. There are people that lose weight on Mounjaro or Zepbound or Wagovy or whatever you're on because of side effects, because of appetite suppression. I am on 10 milligrams right now. I continue to steadily lose weight, and I truly believe that I am one of the people because I don't have a whole lot of appetite suppression at this stage. But I continue to lose weight doing portion control and continuing to swim or walk, and at a pretty good rate I'm losing weight, and I feel like it is because my body is finally working properly. I believe from being pre-diabetic and whatever, I have a hormone deficiency. Whereas I think there's people on the other side who are losing weight, not so much because they have a hormone deficiency, but because of those side effects of appetite suppression and that whole thing. So I do really believe there are two types of people who are losing weight on this medication for different reasons. Anyway, so I'm reading this post and I'm reading, everybody's comments, and I did get annoyed, and I, basically said to her, how could you say that? You have no idea what people's medical history is, what they need. You are not their doctor, and it's not for anyone who decides who needs a medication more than somebody else. I think that is absolutely crazy to be that entitled. And I will say, I did get a little petty at the end of the post, and true story, I did get a text saying my Mounjaro was available at the pharmacy, and I pay out of pocket, so sometimes I do pivot between the two depending on what I could find, because it's the same amount of money and I don't want to be without my medication. However, because of the shortage, I do have a few more weeks, and I was like, well, maybe I'll call the pharmacy and say, you know what, let someone else have it. I'm good for right now. I will look if Zepbound comes around in a few weeks. And at the end of the post, I said something to the effect of, well, I just got a message that my Mounjaro is ready, and not Zepbound, but Mounjaro, and I think I need to pick it up just because of what you said. Something stupid, petty, ridiculous that I shouldn't have said. So I'm getting to the point where I have a problem with the support group administrator. I make a comment about, and someone else makes this comment about how she's wrong for doing that, and the person administrating that group lets her keep up her ridiculous comment about how nobody else should have access to this medication except for diabetics, but she takes down everybody's response to that because I guess it's not positive. So my issue was, so you are choosing to leave up what this woman is saying, or it wasn't a problem what she's saying because you're allowing it to be up. But when people are responding to her like, no, you're wrong, it's not fair to say that. Who are you to decide who needs a medication more or less? And the administrator will not let those comments go through. I understand we want these groups to be positive, and we want to support each other and help each other. And I do understand that we weren't agreeing, and that maybe was not a positive conversation. But if you are going to let someone basically say a whole group of people should not have access to these medications that, let's be honest, are changing people's lives for the better. It is improving my health. It is a preventative. I have diabetes in my family. I was pre-diabetic. Both of my grandmothers died from complications from diabetes. So, to say, no, we'll just treat you when you're diabetic is so ridiculous. And I just feel like if you are going to let her get on and spew this, you need to let her hear the responses and let other people hear the responses. I get it. You want it to be positive, and I am sure that was her motivation for taking that down. Absolutely. And you know what? I honestly, at the end, saying I'm going to pick up Mounjaro just because it's Mounjaro was extremely immature and petty, and I'm sorry I said it, but I was annoyed that she was defending herself over and over, and that view, you know, when people were like, hey, what do you mean? Look at what this has done for people. And again, I get it. It's a high stress situation. People not being able to get their medication is super frustrating. But I just thought, I don't even want to be in a support group that is going to let one side be heard, but when it turns into kind of a disagreement, is not going to let the other side be heard. And I think there are a lot of people losing weight and preventing diseases like diabetes, like heart disease in the long run. And I think that's even more important sometimes than treating it, is preventive medicine, so we aren't paying for treatments later on that are expensive and are detrimental to people's lives. So I think there were other ways she could have said it. I do, I do think sometimes these medications are prescribed a little loosely. I think there does need to be, some standard, and maybe that's not for me to say, but even Eli Lilly has said this is not for, cosmetic weight loss. This is for people who really need to lose weight, who have a BMI of 30 or above. And I think keeping to that or saying, hey, if your BMI is 28, but you have another comorbidity such as prediabetes, high blood pressure, whatever. But I do think there needs to be some standards, and people need to use good judgment when prescribing these medications. However, I do think people need to have access because it's improving people's health so much. So that's really it. That is my criticism of the day of support groups. I would love to hear how you feel about it. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to hear what I have to say, or you want to get in on this conversation. Sorry for the car. I have kids and it's just a busy day. So have a great day. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.